Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled a happy kingdom. He cared for his people and wanted the best for them. He had a wise minister who helped him make good decisions. The king often had fun with his people, and they loved him a lot. The kingdom was peaceful, and everyone lived happily. In the kingdom, there lived a farmer named John. He lived with his wife, Lily, and their 2 kids, Mike and Julie. John worked hard on his farm and grew wheat, which his father had always grown, so he knew it well. He wanted to grow fruits, but he was afraid because he had no experience. He often saw other farmers' fruit crops and sighed. One morning, Lily woke up and headed straight to the kitchen. She filled a pot with water, placed it on the stove, and lit the fire with some wood. Then she added 6 teaspoons of tea leaves, a full cup of milk, and 8 teaspoons of sugar, stirring it all together. As the tea cooked, she put a pan on the stove, added a little oil, and toasted the bread slices on both sides. Meanwhile, Julie woke up and went to the bathroom to wash up. After a quick bath, Julie got dressed for school. Mike then rushed to the washroom, freshened up, and put on his uniform. John also woke up and prepared for work. In the kitchen, Lily spread fresh cream on the toasted bread. Then she peeled and sliced some bananas and added them to a bowl along with honey. After pouring tea into cups, she then set the breakfast down on the kitchen floor. They all gathered in the kitchen to have their meal. After breakfast, both kids grabbed their bags and headed off to school, while John left for work. That night, after dinner, Lily made tea for both of them, while she poured warm milk into glasses for the kids. First, she gave milk to the kids, then sat with John and handed him his cup and held her own. As John sipped his tea, he said,
"Tomorrow, we will start harvesting the crop."
The kids got excited to hear, and Julie said,
"We will take leave from school tomorrow and help you."
John smiled and said,
"No, my dear. It will take almost a week. You can't miss school, but you can come after school to help."
Education is very important for both of you,
Lily added with a smile. The next day, Lily quickly did the housework and made an easy-to-make recipe. boiled rice and lentils. She made a simple tomato sauce as well. First, she added a little oil to the pan. Then added chili powder and stirred it. She added some water. Then added salt and turmeric powder. After that, she poured fresh tomatoes and cooked them for a few minutes. She then mashed the tomatoes and added green chili. Now, the tomato sauce was ready. In another pan, she fried some garlic in warm oil and added it to the lentils. She quickly prepared a fresh green salad and a yogurt smoothie. She packed the food into tiffins and headed to the field. Lily reached the field where John was already cutting the crops. She took a scythe and started to help him. The kids soon arrived, placed their bags in the hut, and rushed to them.
Can we help, Mom?
Julie asked.
Sure, sweetheart. Grab a bucket and help me collect the cut stalks,
Lily said.
Mike, you grab the scythe and do the cutting,
John said. The kids got busy with their tasks. After a week, at night, as John relaxed, he smiled at the kids chatting excitedly.
Harvesting is done. All thanks to you and the kids,
he said. Lily nodded.
We are a family, John. You are work hard for us.
John smiled.
Tomorrow, I will head to town to sell it all. Pray everything goes well,
Lily said.
Of course. Your hard work won't be in vain.
While Julie and Mike hugged him tightly. The next morning, John got up early while the kids were still asleep. After getting dressed and having breakfast, he said goodbye to Lily, who was at the gate to see him off.
Be safe and have a good day, my dear,
she said. Lily got worried all day, praying for John's safety. As the sun began to set, she made John's favorite dinner, boiled egg gravy. Her mind had been on him all day. When they heard a knock at the door, Julie said,
Oh, Dad is here.
And both she and Mike rushed to open the door. John stood there, smiling, and the kids hugged him. Lily's heart lifted with relief as she rushed into the kitchen.
Mike! Julie! Quick! Your dad is hungry!
She called, her voice shaky with emotion. The kids went to the kitchen. and soon they placed the dinner on the floor. They all sat down together and enjoyed their meal happily. After dinner, while sipping tea, John said,
"The crops sold for a good price today. I'm so happy."
Lily smiled.
That's all your hard work, my dear.
John added,
Now I want to grow fruits instead of wheat.
Lily looked worried.
But John, you haven't grown fruits before. It could be risky.
John smiled.
Don't worry, Lily. Mr. Simon offered to lend a hand.
Lily smiled.
Okay. If you say so.
The next day, John was busy in the field, sweeping and preparing everything for planting. Mr. Simon came by after some time.
Let me show you how it's done,
He said. He took a handful of watermelon and grape seeds from John's bag and planted them himself. John watched closely, nodding along, and then gave it a try himself.
just like that, John. Keep them watered, and they will grow in no time.
During the fruit-growing season, the kids and Lily loved visiting the field to see the big watermelons and grape bunches. After harvesting, John said,
I will take the grapes and watermelons to the king first.
John tried to pick up a watermelon, but it was too big to fit into the basket. Lily laughed.
First, take the grapes to the king.
John filled the basket with the ripe grapes and headed to the capital. John reached the palace. The palace guard then took him to the royal garden. The king was playing with the princess. When the king sat down to rest, the guard brought the basket of grapes to the king. The guard pointed to John and told the king that the grapes were a gift from the farmer. The king was still in a playful mood. He took a bunch of grapes from the basket. He plucked out one grape and popped it into his mouth. Then he plucked another grape and threw it playfully at John. When the grape hit John's forehead, he said,
Thank God.
The king was surprised. He asked,
Why are you thanking God?
John replied with a smile,
Almighty King. I had grown the best grapes and watermelons on my farm. Imagine if I had brought watermelons. Indeed, God is great.
The king laughed and gave him many gifts.